do.
So, yes, as Mid was saying, it is indeed Pride Month. Happy Pride, everybody. Whichever spectrum or banner you fall under, you are welcome here. We appreciate you. We're happy to have you. Thank you so very much. Welcome to a grand old gay time. We're all gonna have a good one. So if we are comfortable, if we're comfortable talking about it, I would like to say that I myself am bisexual, proud happily married bisexual to another bi. He is bi-romantic. So, I live in a very bi household. We're very, very pink, purple, and blue household, and it's fantastic.
Hey, so those are good colors. I mean, I am also bisexual, but I also fly under two other flags.
Ooh.
The non-binary flag and the polysexual flag.
Woo!
I have a wonderful girlfriend and also a good boyfriend and...
He's just good. He's just good.
Okay. But you know him. You
I-
agree with me.
I mean, I still feel like when he does well, he does well.
But he does well, he does.
You're just out here being like, nah, titties.
I mean, okay, so if I have to be completely honest, titties, warm and soft, do love.
Yes, facts. There be facts here. Only facts here in this chat. And just a reminder that anytime donations are made during podcast, they all go directly to Midnight to help Midnight get better gear for the stream setup. So if you do feel like donating, please do give to Mid. That would be super highly appreciated, and we'd love anything that you have to offer.
Yes,
So why don't we oh no, I've ruined everything. Spotify's just being a butthead. It's fine. We're cool.
Oh, okay.
So why don't we go ahead and start off with Nick, thank you so much for the $1.
Awesome! $1. I'm okay with this.
That $1 will go directly. We should make a little tip jar on the table for stream days. So every time we get tips, that just goes right into your little thing.
Little tip jar.
Yeah. Little
Very nice.
midnight's tip jar. Yeah, thank you so much for the biddies. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love all this by pride. Oh my god.
I know, me too. It's so wonderful.
It warms my tiny little pink and purple heart. I love it. Love it so much. So why don't we go ahead and kind of get into, well, what exactly are we going to be talking about during Pride Month? So what are we going to be talking about during Pride Month, Mid?
Well, we're going to be talking about various animes and the representation that they provide for people who may be bisexual, gay, or even ace, non-binary, you know. There's even a few animes that have trans characters, which is pretty awesome.
What? No way. All that representation in my anime? That's insane.
I know, right?
That's so crazy. Nick, thank you so much for another $10. Thank you.
Woo!
You are a darling. Thank you so very much.
$11.
Hey, you know what? Depending on the...
That's fantastic. I'm really
I would say, depending on the kind of headset that you get, that's like, you know, a sixth of the way for a new headset.
That is. No, you're right.
You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. But yeah, so I think that the biggest misconception when it comes to anime and when it comes to like anime and manga in terms of like representation and things like that is the notion of what is the notion of like the different types of representation, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, I know exactly what.
So my biggest thing is just like, how do we differentiate? How do you differentiate between something that is meant to be like actual legitimate representation and things that just may be kind of hot and steamy? Yeah. Yeah.
Something like what we discussed last week.
Look, I don't need you coming in here and kink shaming me after everything that we went through last week.
Okay, I'm just saying that Daikachi was definitely fangirl fodder.
Daikachi was 110%. Let's put these guys in hot situations and let's just watch you fangasm all over it. Last week was a banger. I did download it and I cannot wait to start editing it and putting it together. It's going to be a good time.
That's going to be fantastic.
But yeah, so why don't you go ahead and kind of like explain some things to those that may not know.
Alright, well, we have our standard shonen ai. We have our straight up yaoi. We have our shoujo ai and our straight up yuri. And then a few little subcategories hanging out in the corner.
And then you also have just like straight up representation in your anime.
Exactly.
That's the time it gets real bonkers.
Right? Because, sometimes an anime will surprise you. Zombieland Saga. And just come out of nowhere with an episode where they scream trans right.
Stars align.
Mamoru Miyano coming up in my grill and screaming trans rights at me.
So what are these terms? Yaoi, shonenai, yuri. I've never even heard of that before. Please educate me.
Okay, well, shonenai is in, the simplest terms translated to boys love. And shoujo-ai is the opposite, roughly translated girls love. And yaoi and yuri is what happens when you take it a step further and things start getting hot and steamy and you start talking about that fangirl bait.
I would say that for shonenai and shoujo-ai, there is a little bit more of a premise of like a plot, and the relationship is there, but the relationship is not like the all-encompassing factor of the show. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit when we start talking about Yuri on Ice, but it's kind of the thing of like shonenai or shoujo-ai has like LGBTQ couples and characters, but the show is not based on the fact of that. Whereas in a yaoi or a yuri, 9 times out of 10, everyone just fucking gay in that.
I was gonna say, the plot is they gay. That's literally the plot in most yaois and yuris.
Pretty much. It's not just they gay, but it's everyone be gay and everyone be fucking.
I mean, that's true. I mean, you're right.
I know, I'm right. So why don't, I think before we dig too much into it, what are some prime examples of like, what would we consider like something that is like good representation? And let's not say where we would throw Yuri on Ice just because we want to actually discuss it, but
right.
What are some things that we would consider like good LGBTQ representation, and what might be maybe not as good as it once was?
Oh, I can already see where you're headed with that.
But let's start with the positives. So what would you think is some good representation? What do you think is some good stuff that is good representation?
Alright, so my first nomination for this is going to be number 6. If you like sci-fi anime, representation, the number 6 is where you want to be at.
Number 6 is extremely good.
Yes. It stands up really well on its own, like I said, just as a really good sci-fi anime. And then the fact that Shion and Nezumi are together is just like on top of the fact that the plot's already excellent.
I will say this, I don't normally recommend things like this, but if you are gonna watch it, just watch it subbed. Dub's not really worth it.
Yeah, I mean...
It's okay.
The voice actors did their best, but the script is really
Script
awkward.
is garbage. They translated Nezumi's name. They actually translated Nezumi's name and they just call him Rat. I'm like, yes, we have the bury your gays and we have the turn them into rats. I love this. This is my favorite and I love it here. Fantastic.
Right?
If we're talking about good representation, I would probably okay. I have an idea for good representation, but it's a bit of a stretch. I'll be honest. But
right.
I will say that
I want to hear this big stretch.
I will say that it's probably better. I will say that it is probably better than some of the ones we're going to talk about later, but Hattori Jime My Hero. I think Hattori Jime My Hero is one of the best because it has 2 concurrent relationships, one of which is exploring kind of like that younger element of finding out that you're gay and stuff like that, or thinking that you might be gay, and kind of exploring that a little bit. And then there's the other element of it, which they have a very nice, very wholesome relationship. The only thing that sucks is that he's dating his teacher. But, in defense of the show, there is no boinking. The teacher and student, they do not boink. They are just in a wholesome relationship. The kid is almost out of school. The teacher's like in his early 20s. I know that really doesn't make anything sound any better, but consent in Japan is a strange thing.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's a little wrong to press Western values onto things sometimes.
But I could also understand why people would have a problem with it, and that's why I say it's a little bit of a stretch. But in terms of a show that has good characters, good plot, and it's not just constantly ending in "but they fucking," right? Like,
yeah.
I think this is a very good one, because there's a trope when it comes to LGBTQ stuff, and I'll get into that a little bit, that just gets bad, and that's something that this actively avoids. So I'm down for it. I want to watch Hattori Jime My Hero again so badly. Oh, I do. I just bought the first volume of the manga, so I can't wait to read it. Do you have another example of representation that you want to throw out there?
I mean, I could bring up Banana Fish, but I feel like I just want to wait to revel in everything about it at the end of the month.
Please, let's do that. I have a manga representation that I would like to bring up, because God knows we don't talking about manga enough on this podcast.
Look, I was thinking maybe for my birthday month, I might be like, hey, let's talk about Pet Shop of Horrors, because everyone needs to appreciate Pet Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, but where am I going to read it? Where am I going to find an out-of-print manga?
That's a good question. We'll try to figure it out.
But anyway, so there's something that I really want to recommend. It's called I Think Our Son is Gay. And it's so cute. It's so wholesome, because this mom can just, like, her son is just a big chatterbox, and he's super awkward, and every time she's like, oh, how was your day? Have you met someone that you like? Okay, here's the thing. Here's one right here. here's the thing right here. This is just reading from like the second page of the manga. Like I'm not even kidding. Where the mom is like, every mom has their own unique touch when it comes to food. You'll find yourself craving this kind of curry I make in the future. He's like, it's okay if I want to eat it when I'm older. I'll just find a boyfriend who's great at cooking it and get him to make it for me. And then there's like a long pause and he goes, I mean girlfriend. I totally meant girlfriend. It's so funny. I keep saying boyfriend every time we talk about this. I definitely don't have a girlfriend, but I will have one in the future. But then immediately that's followed up with the mom saying, I think our son is probably gay. He's really cute and sincere to boot. I tend to slip up too, though, when I'm talking to him. And she says, would you like a boyfriend who's good at cooking? So she's totally chill with it. She's really supportive. Their dad is a little kind of close-minded, but he doesn't say anything like blatantly homophobic, at least not yet. It's only volume 1. So this could get really dark really quick. But it's super, super cute and super, super wholesome. And I highly recommend this one in terms of representation. Is that a chow lurking in my chat? Is that a chow that's lurking there? Hey, BB.
I do see a chow lurking.
Hey, BB. How are you? You've missed... Guys, can we get some more Bye Pride in the chat since my hubs is here? Let's get some Bye Pride in the chat. Bye Pride. More Bye Pride. Love it. Thank you. But yeah, so for a manga recommendation, that's what I would make. There's another one I haven't read yet, but I really want to. It's called My Brother's Husband. And I think what happens in it is, like, the brother passes away, and so, like, his brother comes to visit the dead brother's husband. Ace flags, then! Let's get some Ace Pride in the chat! Well, I didn't... That's the thing, BB. Like, I only talked about what I... know that people know that you're out as. That's a good question. That's the one with yellow, purple, and... Hold on. It's this one! Ace Pride! Woo! Yes! Oh, I love this. This warms my heart. I love this. And I didn't want to come out to my chat for you. Not everyone here knows you, BB. This is very new for you.
That sounds about right.
But yeah, so the brother goes to visit the husband of the dead brother, and they are essentially trying to, like, figure out... And the brother didn't know about the dead brother's husband. Like, didn't even know he was gay. I think that's what it is. So it was a lot of, like, coming to terms with that and everything. I've heard it's phenomenal. And I would absolutely love to see more of it. So hopefully...
I'm gonna have to check out if I go to the bookstore tomorrow.
I think you would really like I Think Our Son Is Gay. It's a little...
Probably. It sounds kind of wholesome.
It is very wholesome, and again, this is the first volume, so things could get kind of heavy, but for now, it just plays it really light, really easy, and it's just nice to have material out there that shows a supportive parent. Because I know that that's one of the things that kind of permeates LGBTQ media, is like people are out and they're proud and good for them, but they have like no family. They have like no one to go to or anything like that. And I'm like, well, that's awful. So, there's that. Did you have any other suggestions for good representation before we move into the maybe not so good stuff?
Oh, I'm trying
And it doesn't have to be a full show. It can be like, you know, just a show that you think handles representation well in terms of like a singular character, not even in terms of like, oh yeah, everyone be gay.
Well, I already brought up Zombieland Saga, which I thought did Lily's arc fantastically, and that was wonderful to see. And I'm still eternally glad
let me throw this up real quick. Okay, spoiler, Mikuru is here, so please tell us more about Lily's story, because I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so Lily was like, how do I put this? Lily was a child, obviously a child star, and presented as female even when she was alive. And while her death is kind of played off as a joke because she like had a heart attack from puberty, it was a little weird. But like when the other girls start to like treat Lily different, Kotaro just like walks in, looks at all of them and goes, "Trans rights, everybody!" Basically goes like, okay, the fact that Lily was not born as Lily makes no difference. You're all zombies now, you're all idols now, suck it up, get over it.
Basically. That's fantastic, I love that.
It was great. Like, I just loved seeing Kotaro come up to bat and like tell the other girls, hey, don't be weird.
Right.
Lily is Lily.
It's like, you're the ones making it weird, so stop making it weird.
Exactly.
Like, that's just literally how it is. So, let's talk about some not so great representation. Just so we kind of have, so we kind of have like a bar set for maybe folks who haven't really delved into LGBTQ media. Now, again, smut is smut, and it is what it is. So, some of these things I'm going to talk about, yes, are smut, but at the same time, you can have good representation in your smut. Sekaiichi Hatsukoi is a wonderful example of good representation in your smut. So,
true.
So, just because something is smutty, it doesn't automatically mean it's bad. That being said, there's this show called Sakura Trick. Kill me. Fucking kill me.
Thank you. I'm so glad you brought it up. Because if you hadn't have, I would. I had to watch Sakura Trick back when I was working on a website. And it was the most unpleasant, most horrible experience I've had with any kind of LGBT media. Like, it was disgusting.
Like, it's literally, it's just cute, and that is a very relative term that I use. And it's supposed to be like cute girls being couples and stuff like that. But like, okay, maybe this is just a me thing, but I don't need to hear every time they like are getting like really into it and then they start getting like all panty and like slickby and slappy and just, you know, like stuff like that. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah. Oh, God. No, the main couple was so goddamn insufferable. Actually, the side couple was kind of cute. They were kind of
like if I remember correctly, like in the first episode, they're like trying to get back into their class for something. I don't remember what, but like the door is locked, so they're trying to like get out on the balcony and get over, but then the window's locked too. So then they're just like on the balcony and they're just like, yeah, fuck it. This is a perfect opportunity to just lay down and start making out. Oh, and hey, my fingers are going up your skirt. Enjoy. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
I remember that.
Okay, I was just making sure that I didn't like remember it incorrectly. And I'm like, this is insane. It was ridiculous. And I was just like, okay, all right, whatever, I guess.
And then, yeah, like for the rest of the series, that particular couple just like could not stop
Being the worst.
the worst. Like I said, I remember the side couple being tolerable. Whenever there was an episode about them, I was like, oh, cool. I'm happy with this because you're not completely insufferable.
Facts. You speak facts. What's another example of not good representation?
Oh boy. So we're old. You know we're old.
Rude, but alright.
So all we had back in the day.
Oh, you are gonna bring it up.
Yeah, well, I was gonna go to Lovelace. You're free to bring up gravitation.
This is fair. This is fair. This is fair. Yes. And yes, this is an anime podcast.
Yes. Hi. Welcome.
We're talking about gay. Like, legitimately. Please. Go on. Well, if you bring up Loveless, it's gonna make Gravitation, like, not look that bad at all by comparison, but...
That's fair. So why don't you start with gravitation and then I'll get to the horror that was Loveless.
Let me explain Gravitation. Here's the thing. Back in the day, there was like 2 anime that you went to if you were into boys love. And it was 2 manga. I should be fair, it was 2 manga. Loveless didn't get an anime adaptation for a little bit. Did you know that Loveless got a dub?
Yes, I did know that. It's terrible.
Does it? Did you know it's fucking bad? Like, it's really bad.
It is really bad. No,
It is
I tried watching
it is objectively one of the worst dubs I've ever heard in my life. Like, people are like, oh my god, I can't believe they used accents in this period piece for an anime. I can't believe it. It's the worst dub I've ever heard. Oh my god. Like, Eren Yeager sounds so terrible. And I just want to be like, watch the Loveless dub. You want to hear a bad dub? Watch Gravitation's dub. You want a bad dub?
Don't even talk to me about gravitation.
We're gonna talk about Gravitation's dub because we're talking about Gravitation. So, anyway, but you had two that you kind of went to when you were starting to get into the boys love thing. I'm equally convinced that these made us gay just so we could be better gays than what were in these pieces of media. I'm convinced. But the first one was Gravitation, which a lot of you probably don't know what that is. So I'm gonna go get a picture of Gravitation, because I get it. You're all babies. I understand. I'm an old woman. Don't at me.
Like I said, I admit we are old. That's how I had to start this, because I was like, wow, I don't think anyone's gonna remember these two boys love series. That,
Oh my god.
You know.
So I went to go look up Gravitation, and there's still Gravitation TV series, episode 1, part 2. That was like the first thing that popped up, and I'm like, part 2, holy shit.
My goodness.
I will say this, because I'm gonna get two pictures up real quick. So I will say this. God, we got fucking gypped when it comes to the anime, and I'll explain to y'all why in just a second. We got fucking gypped. But please continue.
Alright, so yes, those were our choices pretty much back in the day. And, oh, how do I even put this?
Living Nightmare, thank you so much for the follow.
The first one was Cat Boys are just a terrible, nasty, abusive relationship that was Yuki and,
Shuichi.
Shuichi. Yes.
So let's start. Oh god, I've ruined it all. Give me a second. I've ruined it all. I keep forgetting how to do things. I swear to god, I know how to be a streamer. Anime I watched back in the day was SpongeBob. How dare you?
Oh yes, I remember for the SpongeBob anime. I thought that came out pretty recently.
It
Though.
did.
Like, it was on YouTube. I watched it. It was a little weird, but whatever.
I was into it. I thought it was pretty great. So
no, it was pretty great. I liked it.
Okay. Images. So yeah, I'm gonna put away spoiler Miku because I don't think anyone cares if we spoil Gravitation. The fucking
Seriously,
like
what? Almost as old as I am?
probably. I need to see when it came out. Here, let me like move things properly. Anyway, but yeah, so what have I done? I did something and I don't know what. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. So let me explain something about Gravitation real quick. So the premise of the story is oh, it only came out in 99. So it's not as old as you.
Okay. So
You're
it's not
ancient.
as old as me.
You're ancient.
Not that much younger than me.
So the premise of Gravitation is the pink-haired character Shuichi wants to start a music career, and he's got his friends and his band, and they're gonna start their music career. They're launching a single, so he's like, I need to write a new song for it. But the problem is, he's an anxious, nervous ball of nerves, and he's also kind of lazy. Yeah, I'm as old as this anime I've never heard of. Shut the fuck up, Nick.
Bro, jeez, so young.
Yeah, because I remember being exposed to this when I was in high school. Yeah, when I was in high school. And this show, so yeah, Shuichi, like, writes some lyrics, and he, like, loses the paper, or he throws it away because it's bad. I don't really remember. It's been a long time. I don't remember
I think, like, the wind blows, and he loses it in the wind.
Yeah.
And Yuki fixes it, and
And
it's like, yeah, these lyrics are shit.
And Yuki's a writer, so he knows his stuff. But yeah, no, he's like, your lyrics fucking suck. Like, deal with it. And it's so... And then all from there, all that happens is Shuichi just becomes infatuated with Yuki and wants to just follow him around and be like, hey, tell me my lyrics aren't shit. And Yuki's just like, no, you're being a brat. And he's like, fuck you. And then Yuki makes out with him to get him to shut up. Like, that's it. That's the whole show. That's the whole fucking show.
I mean, there's that, and then we get into Yuki's weird abusive past, and starts, like, you know,
like, all he does is just
freaking out, and things aren't good, and
you know, that's like the one aspect of the show that was done well, is Yuki just being like, I don't know how to emotion with people because I've never been taught to. But it doesn't make up for the fact that he just treats Shuichi like shit the entire time. It does not make up for it. He treats him like garbage. Like, I'm sorry, I mean this in the absolute nicest way that I possibly can. Your past trauma is no excuse for you being an asshole. Like,
exactly. No, that's
I can understand if there are things that are difficult for you to process or difficult for you to understand, but it's not an excuse for you to treat other people like shit. And this anime was basically being like, nah, it's totally fine that this guy is essentially verbally abusing this other guy every fucking time he sees him. He calls him an idiot. He calls him untalented. He says that he doesn't want to be around him. He says he doesn't want him anywhere near him and shit like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Why are you like this? Why are you such an asshole? It's not that he wasn't taught right from wrong. It's just he wasn't really taught, like, how to emotions. But he has a sister that turned out totally fucking fine.
Yep.
Yuki has a sister that is compassionate and cares about people, but she's still kind of a stubborn bitch. And again, this is no excuse for him to treat someone who has literally done nothing wrong, and all they've said to him is just like, I don't know why, but I like you, and I want to know more about you. And I would understand if it was a couple of episodes. But this goes on.
The whole show.
this goes on even into the OVA. Even into the OVA. And all he does, and even Shuichi, like, makes this beautiful song for Yuki off the top of his head. It's one of my favorite anime songs of all time. And all Yuki does is say, it would have been better if you had actually, like, thought it out and not just done it spur of the moment. And I don't want to hear, like, oh, that's just how he shows his affection. No, fuck you. If my husband talked to me like that, I wouldn't fucking stand for it. Maybe I'm taking my anime too seriously. I don't know. All I know is that, like, looking back, I was gonna say, looking back on it, it's just problematic.
No, it's super problematic. But hey, the music was really good.
The music was fucking banger. And before we go on real quick, this is the thing that we got robbed on. I mean, my god, if we could get the kind of animation that we got, like, in fucking, Banana Fish. Like, could you imagine Mappa making Gravitation today?
Oh god, yes.
Like, look at that.
That, oh my gosh, that was perfect.
Could you imagine if we had gotten something like this back in the day? Oof. That would have been wonderful. But no. We got this. Do you see how we were robbed? Also, the manga makes them look like they're actually, like, the same age, which I think there's, like, a 2-year difference. Why does this make Shuichi look like an actual fucking child? Like,
I thought there was a way larger age difference.
Let me double check.
Oh, it's just the animation.
Yeah, let me double check what the age gap was. First thing, Shuichi Shindo. No, technically his first name is Eri. My bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Eri Yuki.
Eri Yuki. Kill me.
Yeah.
Alright, so Shuichi is 19. So he's older than most of these people are. Yeah. Yeah, Shuichi's 19 and Eri is 22. So there's not that big of
no 22-year-old I have ever seen.
Oh, Eri?
Yeah. He looks at least 27. You can't convince me otherwise.
Well, Shuichi looks like he's 16!
I mean, you're right. So that's why I thought there was a larger age difference.
Exactly. That's why, you know, the anime has not held up very well. But now I just want to listen to I Want a New World because it's such a fucking bomb song, and I love it. But yeah. This was your introduction back in the day. This was your introduction to the LGBTQ. And it's not good. It's not very good, but it's not as bad as something else, right?
Yes, let's talk about Loveless.
I pray for death every day.
Me too.
You know, I kind of want to see real quick what score it has on my anime list.
Oh gosh, do it.
I'm doing it. You go ahead and talk about Loveless.
Okay, so have you ever wondered...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh god, it's probably way too high and I'm scared.
6.83 mean score, ranked 4,357th.
Yeah, okay, that's still a little too high, but at least it's not as high as I feared.
That's fair. Anyway, go on then.
Yes. So have you ever wondered what exactly would happen if you just took the concept of being a virgin and visualized it as being a cat boy?
Or a girl.
No? Or a girl, yeah. No? Well, that's what this does. And, yeah, so that's just the base of what's wrong with it. Let's not talk about the other, interesting implications of the phrase of collars and chains and, very disturbing age differences.
I'm getting the picture.
Also, erotic ear piercing.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
You forgot about the erotic ear piercing?
I forgot about the erotic ear piercing. Where is it? Where'd she be? Hold on. Where's the piece? I can't find it. Hold on. Trying to figure out where it is. Oh, it didn't get added. There we go. Okay, here we go. So this, I picked this picture specifically because I want to show just how problematic. This is official artwork. This is official art that is shown on my anime list to be like, this is what this show is. Do you want to watch, children? I fucking pray for death.
I gotta agree, I also pray for death.
And then, let me get the anime picture, but go on, please. Go on.
Alright. And you know, it's been a long time since I've watched it, but all I remember is, dear Lord, this poor kid, please stop. And everything in the series is just generally uncomfortable.
It's
and then,
so unpleasant.
On top of all of that, we still got that horrible dub.
Oh, you forgot about the part. Cause the point of the Loveless, it's really weird, but the point of the Loveless is the fact that they have a very special relationship and they have like powers or some bullshit. I don't really know. I haven't bothered to give a shit. And
yeah, look, the last time I even so much as glanced at this series was sometime back in high school. I don't remember much of it.
But they're bound by the chains and the collar, and they fight in this alternate dimension thing. But no, Seme, who is the main name of the character, so fucking subtle. For those of you who don't know, there are a couple of terms in BL. Seme is the top and the uke is the bottom. And this fucking dude, who is the Seme, is just named Seme. And the character next to him, Ritsuka, Seme was boinking Ritsuka's brother. And then Ritsuka's brother died. Ritsuka lost the memories of his brother's death because they were so traumatic. I actually think Seme might have erased them because his brother burned to death or some shit. And I think it was a cover up. I think it was a cover up by the organization. The plot is so fucking
it's super convoluted.
It's so convoluted. And I'm gonna look up the age differences. I'm gonna look up the age differences.
Oh god, the age difference was disgusting. I can't even remember, but Ritsuka's super young and it's really gross.
And there's a scene, because the thing of it is that the whole point is ew, 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 ew.
Is it worse than I remembered? Oh god.
It's gonna be worse than you remember. It's gonna be worse than you remember. Hold on. I don't remember how old he is. I don't remember what his last name is. Anyway, okay, it's worse.
Oh god.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh no, Seme was his brother? Hold on. I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Give me a second. Yeah, Seme is the name of his brother.
Oh, okay, that's even weirder.
I'm getting there. Sobi, that's what his name was. His name was Sobi. That's okay.
That's it.
Ew! 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 Oh my god! Oh fucking! I'm gonna puke. But anyway, so there is a show, or there is a part of the show where, where these two characters, they're called Loveless. They're talking, and then they go off screen, and then they come back, and they take each other's ears off. When one takes their ears off in this universe, it means they fuck.
Like I said, if you took the concept of virginity and personified it as being a cat boy or cat girl, that's what happens. And it's super messed up.
Foxy, thank you again for the stretch. No, I am not going in the trash while we're talking about this show. Get fucked. Get
I
fucked.
will go into the trash any other time.
We will go into the trash when we're done talking about Loveless, but you guys have to understand, this was a show. Sobi, who's this guy right here. Seme is Ritsuka's brother. I will clarify that for anyone out there being like, oh my god, you got my Loveless lore wrong. One, fuck you. And two, yes, Seme is the older brother. Sobi is the guy in the picture here. So, Sobi is 21.
And if I remember, Ritsuka's like 14?
Ritsuka's 12.
Oh god, it was worse than I thought!
Yeah. This was all that we had. You either had gravitation with your extremely abusive relationship. Oh, and also someone got raped. Shuichi got raped. Like straight up.
That's right. You unlocked that memory that I just completely shut away. Thank
Right?
you.
Yep. So you either have that or you have this. And I'm not gonna say what this is because I don't want Twitch to at me. But it's not good. So like back in the day, there was not a lot of good stuff. There really was not a lot of good stuff.
No, there was not.
So
that's all we had back when I was in high school.
Back in the days when you had to carve out your manga on stone tablets.
Okay, I'm not that old.
And I never even heard a Japanese person talk. All we had was Adult Swim.
I'm not that old.
You are that old.
Okay, maybe a little.
But anyway.
Alright, anyway, let's talk about what our primary subject, that thing we came to talk about today. The much better representation we have here in the future.
Okay, hold on. Let's get in the trash first because we have a redeem for it. So let me get us in the twish. Everyone in the twish.
Yay,
all right, we are in the twish. Welcome everyone. We are in the twish. Oh no, I've ruined everything. Hold on. There we go. Okay. We are in the twish. And now it is time to talk about the show that we are here to talk about. What are we here to talk about? Midnight!
We're here to talk about Yuri on Ice.
Thank God.
Anyone remembers, like, what was it, 4 years ago now?
Let me double check when Yuri on Ice came out, because I think it was 2016 that it came out.
2016. Oh my gosh, it's so long ago now.
October 5th, 2016. That's 5 years ago.
That's 5 years ago. Crazy. But yes, back in the year 2016, there was this anime that was garnering everyone's attention.
Back in ye oldie days.
Back in the ye old days of 2016.
But, so, Yuri on Ice essentially follows this story of an ice skater. His name is Yuri. What a novel concept. And he's very infatuated with another skater named Viktor Nikiforov, who is the best ice skater in the world, like, period. He's so amazing at everything he does. He's so incredible at everything that he does. And Yuri just wants an opportunity to try to skate with him. However, Yuri has this thing called crippling anxiety. So he finally gets his opportunity to skate at like the same level as Victor, and he completely chokes. So then he kind of goes into a slump, and then one day he's skating at his local rink, and The children of his childhood friend upload a video of him skating, and Victor sees it and decides he's gonna come be Yuri's coach for ice skating. And that's the premise of the show. The premise of the show is getting Yuri to the Grand Prix, which is this worldwide skating competition, and having him be hyper successful at it. So first off, since we're in the Twish, let's just talk about this. This show is so fucking hot.
Oh god, yes.
This show is so hot. Oh my god.
There are moments that are just completely outstandingly hot. Like, goddamn. First off, Victor, when you first see him in the bat in the setsu.
Yeah, Yuri's family owns a hot spring, so Victor just decides to go to the hot spring, and then Yuri goes to see him, and Victor just stands up, and they just dead-ass put his naked butt in, like, the center of the shot. And he's just like, well, hello! And it's like, oh.
Why, hello, I'm going to be your coach.
And Yuri's just like, why is he naked? Why is he naked?
Why is he naked? Why is he here? What's
Right. And then there's me on the opposite end of the spectrum and just being like, you know when Yuri tries to be hot and it's actually kind of hot? Like,
yes.
Like when he's doing
Anytime he's skating arrows.
Anytime he's skating arrows, and he does, like, the first time he did, like, not the first time, but one time he did arrows, and he did, like, this little lip lick with it, and I was like, ah! I remember, because we watched the show while it was airing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I remember that happening, and just being like, oh, my heart, oh, my gay heart, oh! So I was taken by that. I completely forgot about the part where he grabs onto Victor's tie and tugs him down and is essentially like, watch me on the ice. I understand everyone's here to see you, and I appreciate that, but I want you to watch me. And I was like, huh?
Right? We are talking about Yuri on Ice right now.
Yes. With much excitement. I'm gonna sip some coffee.
So yeah, there was a lot I didn't remember about this show. Primarily that Yuri had a crush on at one point on his childhood friend. So I was like, oh, I completely forgot he was bisexual. Thank you for the cola.
You're welcome. You deserved it. But yeah, no. He was absolutely bisexual. That show almost turned me gay. I was already gay. Otherwise, I probably would be more gay.
Right?
And then I just have to admit, when we were watching the show, I was just a blubbering mess. I don't know if it was just like I was emotionally high-strung this week. I'm gonna take us out of the Twish. I don't know if it was because I was like emotionally high-strung this week or what it was, but literally everything in the show made me goddamn cry. Like, the first time I started hearing the opening again, I started crying. When they started doing, like, their routines, I started crying. I was just like, oh my god. Oh god. And this show is stunning, especially now that the Blu-ray edition is out, because I remember one of the things that people got on was being like, oh, the animation's not that good, and it shouldn't have won Best Animation, because I think Mob Psycho came out that same year, which I agree Mob Psycho is just better.
Yeah, Mob should have won, at least for the TV cut, because there were a lot of animation errors in the TV cut.
But no, going back and watching the Blu-ray
cut is gorgeous.
Absolutely, like, now is the best time to watch Yuri on Ice if you've never seen it. But yeah, no, I remember watching the show and getting frustrated by, like, how many side characters there were and being like, can we just kind of focus on Yuri and Victor? But, like, binging through it, I didn't mind because I was like, I enjoy it. Like, I really, really enjoy it. It was definitely not the first yaoi anime. Oh, good God, no, it wasn't.
No, dear Lord, no,
not by a long slide. Sekaiichi Hatsukoi came out like 2 years before that, I think.
And the Nanafish has been out since the 80s.
Gravitation came out in 99. So, I'm not saying it's all good yaoi, I'm just saying there's yaoi. And again, and honestly, I would even argue this isn't a yaoi. This is 110% a sports shonenai.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, it was really stunning at the time because it came out just about at the same time as, like, Free and a lot of those, where there was just a lot of queer baiting and people were getting sick of it. It's like, oh, these characters are clearly gay coded, but they're not gonna commit to it.
Yep.
So when Yuri on Ice started, a lot of us were kind of scared it was gonna go down the same path because obviously the signs were there.
But I will say that early on, Yuri on Ice committed a little better by having things like Yuri and Victor, like, hugging each other. But you could also make the argument that that's just a coach and a skater's relationship. So
exactly.
it's hard to say.
It was the kiss that was the big moment that made everyone realize, oh, it's actually going to commit.
But you can't prove that they kissed. It looks like they just hugged. You can't prove that they kissed.
You can't. But it's still like
they 100% kissed. They 110% kissed. I was being facetious because there was a lot of
debate back in this day. Yeah.
Like, the thing of it is that Yuri on Ice, you either really loved it or you really hated it because it was popular. And I think I'm gonna give a hot take here. I think people were unnecessarily harsh to Yuri on Ice, not because it was gay, not because it was like queer or anything like that, but because it wasn't a typically popular show. Like even in the sense of like Free is just so obnoxiously over the top with its queer coding and with its like comedy and things like that. That's understandable why that would become such a popular show. But Yuri on Ice was such a, for lack of a better term, Yuri on Ice is a very delicate show.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like, yeah, you have your characters that are kind of out there. Like Victor's a little out there. I would even Chris is a little out there. I would even argue that Yorio's a little bit out there. But
Yorio's very a little bit out there.
I love Yurio though. He's fantastic.
My favorite.
He's a good boy. But it's the fact of like this show was so muted in terms of like how it did things, and there was drama, of course, but nothing was so ferociously over the top. It was just as simple as this skater looks up to this other skater who's now coaching him, and they both want him to win a gold medal at this massive competition. Like, that's it. That is the simple premise of the show. And to be perfectly honest, it's repetitive because I don't know if anyone has ever watched a skating competition, but if you follow skating from like the time the season starts going all the way up to these finals, you honestly just watch the same routine from the same like 6 people over and over again, or the same like 20 people over and over again, because it's just following it would be like, God, what is the best way to describe this? But it's essentially like they have their routines and they have their sets that they do. So if you follow the sport, you're gonna see the same thing over and over again. You're gonna watch Yuri skate on Love Eros 7 times. You're gonna watch him skate Yuri on Ice 7 times. That's just facts. And I understand it's a little repetitive, and there's a lot of subtle things about it that change and get different throughout the show. But for a lot of people, they're like, well, this is stupid. But that's the sport of ice skating. You don't like the show because you don't like ice skating. So don't fucking watch it. I don't know what to tell you. but that's my hot take, is that people didn't like it because it's not a typical popular show. And so they were like, well, we're going to hate on it because it's popular and it's not our typical popular show. Because everyone hates on the shonen flavor of the month or the over whatever. I will agree to an extent it got a little oversaturated.
Oh, completely.
But
It did get very, very oversaturated.
But I also make the argument that Yuri on Ice probably was like a gateway anime for a lot of like middle schoolers and high schoolers at the time, because, you know, again, that was 5 years ago. Most of them are in college right now or are just now graduating high school, and a lot of them learned queer identity from it.
I can definitely get behind that idea.
So I think that's why it might have been so oversaturated. I know a lot of NBs talk about it because of the themes of like gender fluidity and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that I completely forgotten about.
Yeah, Victor, like, saying that a lot of his costumes suggest masculine and feminine. It's not always just about like boy or want to look like girl. Or Yuri being like, yeah, so this On Love Arrows, which is like a really sexy ballad about like this man just coming to like fuck all these bitches. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be like a man seducing a girl, but I could be a girl seducing a man. So Yuri really leans into this notion of playing feminine and leaning into that and having that sort of like fluid movement, or like that fluid identity of his body and the way that he moves. You absolutely see it.
Sure.
Excuse me. What are some of the things that you noticed while watching through it again?
Well, like I said, the first thing I noticed was the bisexuality, which I completely forgot about. For some reason, I just thought he was straight up gay. And I was like, oh, that's right. He did have a crush on his childhood friend. And I did notice a lot of the male-female themes. And I did notice a lot this time how they played with the idea of different kinds of romance a lot too. You know, pure love, sexual love. There's even, you know, some sibling love in there, even though it's a little bit weird.
And then there's also the notion of just fucking. There's just fucking.
I mean, there's just Chris and yeah.
Do you think Chris and Victor just fucked?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's definitely a thing that happened at one point. Like, I can't even like imagine that it didn't.
That's fair. Another thing that
I just wish that Yuria wasn't 15.
I know.
There's a lot of effort to like sexualize him at certain points, and it's a little.
Well, it's weird because they do like they play up like that innocent aspect of him, and I think it is kind of meant to be a little sexual, just in terms of like this innocent person shouldn't be like so powerful and so attractive, and it's like, you are a child, sir. No, thank you. No.
Exactly.
But I do think that I was surprised how many straight couples there were. I didn't remember so many straight couples, like Emil and Sarah. Yeah, Emil and Sarah. I had forgotten about them. I forgot about JJ's fiance completely.
I love JJ's fiance. She is.
I was surprised. I was not as annoyed by JJ this time around. Let's talk about some of the side characters real quick. I was surprisingly not at all annoyed by the side characters. Most of them I loved. I was like, yeah, I love these characters.
You know, I think something that helped endear me to JJ this time is I knew what was coming up.
Yeah,
so, like, when I watched it during the first thing, it was like, oh, this guy's an absolute jerk, and he's kind
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, they really turn that around in the next episode when he has his massive breakdown. And, like, knowing that was coming kind of helped soften how I felt about him at first.
I did cry during that part, too.
Yeah, I'll admit even I teared up a little bit there. When the whole stadium breaks out into singing JJ's theme, and it's like...
And, like, his fiancé is, like, crying, and she's so into it, and I'm like, oh, get it.
She stands up and starts clapping when everything else is... Oh.
JJ style. He tries so hard. But we'll get a little more into those themes here in a second. But no, I adore so many of the characters. Peachit is the goodest boy.
The goodest of boys, the cutest. Like, he's so good.
Now that I remember that Emil was played by Justin, I was like, oh, I love you. And most of these, and for reference, most of these characters are just 1 or 2 episode characters. They're kind of just one note in their personality. But I can't, like, with the exception of one character, I can't think of any characters that I thought were just wholly unappealing. But the other one, the point is he's unappealing. Like, that's the point.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Chris is just, like, literally...
No, not even Chris.
Oh, not even Chris?
Chris didn't bug me as much this time around because I understand he's just a little skeevy, but it's fine. There was a moment in the animation where he just, like, clenches his ass and it's just dead center in the screen and you watch him just yoink it up, and I'm like, someone got paid to animate that.
Yes.
Someone was paid to animate a man yoinking up his ass.
The other Russian skater?
Yes, I think his name was like Greggy or Gregor.
Yeah.
Georgi. Georgi.
Yeah.
Georgi. Yes, Georgi. That's who I'm talking about. Who's like, oh no, my girlfriend dumped me. Well, fuck her. She's a bitch anyway. But wait, no, come back. I want you. And I'm like, ugh, this makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
But again, I think the intent is he's supposed to be unnerving and uncomfortable and bleh.
Yeah. He's like the only non-incredibly hot skater there, so I feel like that was the whole point.
That's true. That's true. I didn't even think about that part, honestly. Even like Guang Ho and Leo are super cute, and I love them, and I want just a whole side story just about them being best friends.
Right.
And that's the other thing, like, I really hope, I never thought I would say this, but I really hope with Yorio and Otobek that they're just queer baiting. Because I think Yorio just needs a good friend. I don't think he needs a relationship, I think he just needs a good friend. So I really hope that they are just queer baiting with Otobek and Yurio.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because Yurio just needs a good friend. He just needs a good friend right now. And I just want to see them be good friends together. And that was what I was getting to. I love this notion that Yuri on Ice gives, that it doesn't just have to be like romantic love. There is also just, friendships. There is also just supportive and family. And that's kind of Yuri's whole theme, is understanding these different notions of love, including self-love, which is such a fucking crazy concept to him. Like, my god. But part of that plays into, his mentality and what he goes through with that, which, woof. Oh my god. That was honestly some of the roughest stuff to rewatch, was Yuri's breakdown in the parking garage, his whole breakdown leading up to that, where he's just like he's hearing like how the other competitors are doing, and he has to like turn off the TVs, he has to like sit down, and he's like shaking and like crying, and it's just like, this is too real. This is way too real. Like, someone did their homework. At least in terms of what I've experienced. If I have like an anxiety attack or a panic attack or something like that,
that's very much how I get when I'm like that, you know.
So it's crazy how accurate that was. And then JJ, we mentioned it a little earlier. JJ had a huge breakdown where he was skating, where he was like on top of the world. He won gold in both of his competitions getting there, and then he gets to the finals and he just chokes. Like chokes hard. To the point where he can barely perform. And
it's actually rather sad. He's trying so hard. You know he's trying. And, like, the way everyone still supports him, the way his girlfriend supports him.
They kind of play it as this thing of, like, maybe he just felt too pressured by people around him, but no one was saying, like, if you don't do this, we won't support you or something. But he had this thing of, like, I'm gonna win gold and I'm gonna marry my fiance, and then I'm gonna go to all these other places and I'm gonna win gold. And so that's a lot to, like, put on yourself, and that's a lot to tell others that you're gonna do, because they believe that you can do it. But yeah, no, it was great to see that no matter what, they still supported, that his fiance still supported him. And let's talk for a second about how Victor doesn't know how to be supportive.
Right.
Oh my god.
Like, that's one of the main things in the beginning. Like, Yakov's like, you're too selfish to be a coach.
And it's not, and I disagree in selfish, but I think he's too emotionally stunted. Yes, he's too emotionally stunted, because he didn't learn enough about Yuri. He's like, I want to get to know you. But he's like, I just want to know, like, the basic things about you. Like, have you ever had a girlfriend? Have you ever been in love? What kind of food do you like? He didn't want to know, like, what are your fears? Like, what are you nervous about? What do you think is your biggest shortcoming as a skater? Like, he didn't even try to work on any of that with him. So then when Yuri is having, like, this borderline breakdown, he's just like, hey, don't worry, if you don't do well, I'm just gonna not be your coach anymore. And Yuri's like, what the fuck, dude? But Victor said it in a way where he's like, I'm gonna take responsibility for it. And Yuri's like, I already feel shitty that you're my coach. All I want is for you to say that you think I can do this. Like that's all I need from you. And then Victor became his biggest cheerleader, and it was adorable and wonderful, and I loved it.
So cute. Yeah.
I was surprised. Oh, excuse me. I was surprised how many themes of, like, mental health and stuff like that there were, considering everything. But God, Yuri on Ice is so good. I can't emphasize how good it is.
It is. It's very good.
And something that I had completely forgotten about was the finale. I forgot that the final episode is a little more conclusive than I gave it credit for. Because I remember I finished watching it, and I was like, so Yuri and Victor are together? Like, I remember being confused, but I watched it this time, and I'm like, no, they're absolutely together. Like,
exactly.
And I just remember, like, when I finished watching the show, and I was just like, so are they together? I don't understand.
Yeah, like it did seem a lot more conclusive than I remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you know, I still feel validated in the fact that we knew. I think both you and I, when it was airing, were like, yeah, no, Yurio's gonna win gold.
Yes, that was the big thing, is that Yuri didn't win gold because they want to do this whole thing of, like, Victor wants to coach him until he wins a gold medal, and he also wants to skate against Yuri. So that's just going to make it harder for him to get a gold medal. But Victor never wants Yuri to stop skating. Victor thinks that Yuri belongs on the ice and he should keep skating. But so does Yurio. But oh my god, when Yurio just like started crying because he performed like the perfect routine. But now I feel bad because he's only 15 and he's peaked. Like, where do you go from here?
Right? He's gonna have to pull basically a Victor and keep stunning people with different things year after year after year, and I think that's kind of what drove, other than, you know, a few other factors like watching the video or Yuri asking him at the party. I think that's kind of why Victor's stepped down for a season.
I forgot about the party. I forgot about the party.
Never forget about the party.
He's so cute. Getting super drunk and being like, Victor, can be my coach. Be my coach. It was so cute.
Josh Graylee's goddamn treasure. I'm just gonna say
Josh Graylee is a treasure that we do not deserve. He's the English voice of Yuri, and he does the best gay panic attacks, and that was another thing that I loved. I loved that Funimation picked this up, because that's another thing. This is probably the first, like, LGBTQ anime that got, like, a decent dub.
Right?
Like, everything else...
Once again, I will say number 6 did have the dub before this, but once again, we've gone over that. The script, the voice actors are great, but the script sucks.
And pretty much every other pretty much every other LGBTQ show after that was either voiced by hentai voice actors or voiced in the early days when dubs were bad.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll give you guys a list of bad dubs to watch, and then no one will ever complain about dubs again.
Right?
But,
after Yuri on Ice, we got,
you can do it.
We got a few more. We got My Hero, I can never pronounce the first part of it.
Hattori Jime, My Hero. Yes. We got that. We got Citrus. We got Bloom Into You. We got a couple more that I know that I got from David Wald. We got, God, there was another one. We got Love Stage, but I have feelings about Love Stage. But it's a good dub. It's a good dub.
It's a good dub.
Everyone get off my...
It might not be a great show, but it's a good...
It's a very good dub. And part of that is English directors, you know, giving these shows the credit that they're due. And because a lot of times we don't see that. A lot of times we don't see the credit getting due for something like that. It's good to see that. It's really good to see directors, you know, taking these shows seriously and giving them good actors, a good script, giving them, like, their proper due with it. And a lot of times headed by LGBTQ voice actors or directors, and that's another fantastic part about it. So there's just so many fantastic and so many good things about it that it makes me so happy, and I love it.
On that wonderful note, we have been teased by the great David Wald that there's something gay in the works. So I'm excited.
I want to see it soon. I hope he announces it soon.
Me too. Gotta say, the anticipation is killing me.
Facts. I just want to know. But I think that my opinion on Yuri on Ice has changed a little bit. I do think that it was worth the majority of the attention it got back in the day. I do think that the Blu-ray has aged it fantastically, and I think that anyone who's interested in getting into LGBTQ media, this is a very good place to start. This is a fantastic place to start. So I highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out, please go watch Yuri on Ice. It's 12 episodes. It's such a quick watch. The characters are phenomenal. It's It's so good. There's very few things about it that I could think are like genuine like grievances. Oh, one more thing. I love that Peachy is your het friend that's just super happy for you no matter what happens, because there's a part where Yuri gives Victor like a ring matching to his, and Peachy sees them, and his immediate response is, "Congratulations on your wedding!" And it's like,
just gets up to the whole restaurant like, "Hey, my friends just got married."
And I'm like, oh my god, you're the best, Peachit. I love you so much.
It's beautiful.
Peachit's such a good boy. But I think... what are your final thoughts on Yuri on Ice?
I'll say that it definitely came across a lot better this time. Like, I don't know what changed. Maybe it was the Blu-rays. Maybe it's just some time away.
Not being absorbed in the culture. This is why I don't watch a lot of popular shows when they come out, because...
Yeah,
nope, fuck that. Yep.
Yeah, because with the fandom having died down, it was able to look at it without, like, any critical lens or like all the hype around it, and just judge it for its merits, which were all really good. I still have to say, while it may have deserved a good chunk of its awards, I still say the biggest grievance I'll have with the Anime Awards that year wasn't that they gave Best Dramatic Scene to Yuri on Ice. It's that they gave it to the wrong scene.
Yeah. Because I would even argue, I would argue that either the airport scene or the scene in the parking garage, any of those.
Either of those would have been great.
But they gave it to the kiss.
But they gave it to the kiss.
That one was so blink and you miss it, so.
Right. So that's my opinion. They didn't pick the wrong anime, they just picked the wrong scene.
But yeah, so go watch Yuri on Ice, like, please, for God's sake. It's so
absolutely.
Good.
Alright, why don't we tell the people what we're going to be watching next time?
So, first things first, we are going to be taking Sunday off because Sunday is E3. So that is going to be my focus, is watching E3 stuff. Hold on, let me open my sticky notes. I have a ton of sticky notes. What happened to all my sticky notes? Piece of junk. It's just got all my Genshin notes here. Hold on. There we go. We are going to next week be not next week, but next time, we're going to be watching, we're rewatching Given, and we're going to watch the Given movie.
Yee!
And I'm going to make you watch Dokusei, which is on Amazon. You have to rent it, but it's like $4 to rent, so it's not that bad. So, I will write those in the, I will be writing those in the Discord chat for reference for anyone who does want to watch those. So we won't be here Sunday next week. We're going to take about a 2-week break, but on Friday, my debut day, we are absolutely going to have podcast on that day. So make sure you guys are here for podcasts.
And I might be having a debut of my own that day.
Oh my god, double debut! Oh my god! It'll be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, so that's gonna do it for us tonight. We appreciate you guys coming out. We appreciate you all listening in on our talk about Yuri on Ice, which is incredible and amazing. Thank you so much to everyone who followed. Thank you to everyone who donated. Again, anytime we have the podcast, any donations made during podcast go directly to Midnight to help them start getting new setup and new stuff for streaming. So please do donate, and also feel free to check out their Twitch, which is, it's just Midnight Devant, right?
That's right.
Yep. So I will.
There's nothing much on there now, just but I will hopefully, once I can get some stuff fixed up with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'd love to start streaming, and it should be a really good time.
So yeah.
All right. So yes, thank you all for coming out, and we will see you again on the 18th. And I will also kidnap and drag out here to watch Owl House, which has some wonderful representation in it, actually.
That's not, honestly, like, Dokusei Given and the Given movie aren't going to take very long, so we could probably watch a little bit here and there now that I get out of work at, like, 7:30.
Yeah, we could definitely probably at least catch up with season 1. Season 2 doesn't air for another 6 days anyway.
Yeah. That sounds good. How many episodes is season 1?
Oh, see, actually, let me go check. I'm on my Disney Plus right now, so that shouldn't be too hard. Season 1 is 19 episodes long.
And they're only half an hour each? Like 20 minutes or whatever?
About 23.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, we can certainly start doing that. I'm gonna rewatch Given. I'm gonna cry my eyes out. And I will send you the name Dokusei so you can actually find it.
Yes, please do.
Because it's a weird one. But anyway, appreciate you guys all coming out and look forward to more fantastic content for Pride Month. And as always, thank you guys so very much for stopping by, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.